Hey guys, I want to take a minute to run you through some upper body CARs or controlled articular rotations. This is just a nice and easy way to say slow joint circles. So the key here is tempo, and when I teach CARs, I really focus on trying to get an understanding of what is working in the body, and I also try to encourage that less is more. So I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. So I'm just gonna walk down the joints in the body, working on slow joint circles. I like to do 2 of these at each joint in both directions. But when you're doing CARs, there's a lot of different ways that we can do them. We can do them for reps. We can do it for time under tension. So maybe you just set a clock or a timer and press start and go until it stops. Or you can do all of these at one time, or you can find times throughout the day to hit a joint here and there. Great for a warm-up, great for a cool down, great for any time during the day to train your brain how to move. So let's start with the neck. All right, we're gonna tuck the chin. We're gonna try to radiate about 30%. You can do these standing or sitting, kneeling, crawling, it doesn't really matter. You just wanna make sure that you're trying to isolate whatever joint you're working on. So here we go with the neck. I'm gonna work on finding a neutral shoulder position. I'm gonna tuck my chin. I'm gonna turn my head as if I was looking behind me. And I'm gonna pull that ear over the shoulder. Pull that ear back over the shoulder and turn back to that center point with the chin tucked. Again, I want to rotate the neck as if I was looking behind me. Pull that ear over the shoulder. Slowly circle all the way back. Again, tempo is everything here. When you're doing these, make sure you're not getting any closing joint pain. So if you roll into this neck and you feel pain here, I want you to come out of that rotation and kind of move around that pain. Don't ever push into joint pain. Now, if you're feeling any kind of discomfort on the other side, this open joint, I'm not as concerned with that. That should take care of itself, hopefully. But we don't want any closing joint pain. So that's the neck. So now that we're done with the neck, we're gonna go to the spine. I'm gonna work on the same exact thing with the spine. I just don't want my pelvis to move. So I kind of engage my glutes, try to solidify. I'm gonna work on rounding that spine. I've got my chin tucked. I rotate. I reach those ribs back. Rotate again. Again, try to keep those hips still. And reverse it. Really try to feel your spine rotating. It doesn't rotate much, but we want to feel what it's doing. Repeat that twice. All right, let's go to our scapula, or our shoulder blade. We're just going to move this shoulder blade in a big circle. I like to think up, forward, down, and back. Really try to relax your arm here. We don't want the elbow helping out. We don't want the shoulder helping out. We just want that shoulder blade to be able to move all by itself. Slow and controlled here. Let's reverse it. And remember what I said, less is more. Your closest joint is always going to want to help out if you have any dysfunction. So we're trying to be aware of when that happens. All right, let's go to this other one. I want to show you just a few that we can do for the shoulder blade. And my hand stays in the same position here. My elbow doesn't bend. I'm not tilting my neck. Just trying to get my shoulder blade to move in a big circle. The slower that you perform these, the better. I could do these out here. I could do them hanging. I can do them on all fours. Anything to get those shoulder blades moving and being aware how they're moving. All right, let's go to the actual shoulder joint. So we're gonna work on shoulder flexion to start. I like to grab my ribs so I can see if my spine is moving and gives me a little awareness. You can also just gently rest your fingers on the shoulder because it's very common for us to elevate that shoulder blade. So we want to stay depressed or neutral in the shoulder, and we're going to try to come up into a shoulder flexion without bending the elbow. That thumb just gets as far back as it can. Now we're going to take the slack out of the hand or the wrist and the elbow, and now this bicep drives the movement. We don't want to move without rotating the arm. So think about an X on that bicep as it circles into that circle. Circles into that circle, if that makes any sense. Let's come right back. We take the slack out of the elbow and the wrist. We're going to come back around. Really try to stay long in your elbow here. And again, you're thinking about that bicep rolling back up this time with external rotation. When you find some choppy points or areas that you feel like you move really quick, you have a real struggle to control, those are some areas that you want to probably spend a little bit more time in. All right, so again, think about an X being on this bicep right here. I'm gonna roll this bicep. So I'm not just doing a circle, but I'm rolling as I circle. If I'm not rotating with the movement, then I'm not really getting that shoulder to move in its full range. Again, very common to elevate, keep that shoulder down, keep that elbow fully extended. Come straight back, take that slack out, stay long as that bicep starts to roll back out. Again, slower the better. I'm moving a lot quicker than I normally would, so really try to focus on your tempo. So we went neck, spine, shoulder blade, shoulder. Now we're gonna go elbow. You can do these together or you can isolate one at a time, whatever you prefer. I'm gonna do both of them. So I'm really gonna work on rolling in and out, right? Supination and pronation, or flexing and extending. These are the two moves that our elbow does. So when we go into this roll, I really want you to force it and slowly extend the elbow. You're probably gonna feel some burn from the stabilization in the shoulder. We don't want anything to move. We don't want the wrist driving this movement. And we only want to focus on that elbow doing all of the work. So really try to hold that rotation as you flex in the elbow. Try to feel and think about what that elbow is doing. Again, slower the better. Let's reverse it. I go right back down. So I guess I'm not doing both of them, I'm just doing one if you can't tell. Roll it back out and slowly come back up and back out. Good, that's our elbow. So now let's move to the wrist. The wrist is kind of tricky because your elbow is gonna wanna help so much. I find the shoulder getting involved a lot. I find the elbow getting involved a lot. So I like to just grab my wrist to try to control or feel if my wrist is moving because of my elbow. So what I want is I don't want to do any cupping with my fingers. I try to keep my hand perfectly straight. And now I'm going to do a big circle with my wrist. Again, slow and controlled is the key. And we'll reverse it. Again, I can do these sitting down. I can do them a number of different ways. The key is, can I get this joint to move in a controlled manner in isolation? That elbow wants to help right now. Can I train my brain to just get the wrist to work? Doesn't mean I don't want the wrist and elbow to work together for movement, but I do want to be able to isolate my joints. Slow and controlled. That wrist stays still. All right, that's the upper torso controlled articular rotations, or CARs. I always like to call them slow joint circles. So try these out, experiment with them in different positions. Again, we can do these kneeling, we can do them sitting down, we can do them standing up, we can do them laying on our side. Try them different ways. If you come up with some unique ones, feel free to leave a comment, give me some ideas. Hope you enjoy them. If you got any questions, let me know, and I'll see you next time.